Hello, Signals! You ever, as a kid, wanted to be trapped inside one of your favorite video games? However, in this case, if you died in the game, you died in real life? Well, Echoes of Aincrad tries to bring this feeling back, but there's one major catch which we'll get into later. So, without further ado, grab your nerve gears and let's get started! Echoes of Aincrad is an upcoming JRPG releasing on July 9th that extends the world of SAO, or Sword Art Online, taking place alongside the events of the original anime. Right now, players can jump right into the demo, and thankfully, all your progress carries over into full release. The demo itself can last around 3 to 4 hours, depending on how much you want to explore and get immersed within the world. It includes the prologue and a couple missions to get you started in feeling what the world has to offer. After spending time with it, I honestly came away with mixed feelings. I'll start with the positives for now. The game itself does a really good job in capturing the feeling of entering Aincrad for the first time. The opening moments generally felt immersive, almost like you were another player experiencing SAO alongside of these other characters upon the release and beta for the games. For fans of the series especially, that atmosphere is probably the game's strongest feature. Combat is also pretty straightforward and easy to understand. You have your light and heavy attacks alongside your sword skills that go on cooldown, kind of like abilities in most ARPGs. It's simple, but it feels responsive enough early on, and there's definitely potential for it to become more interesting later if the game expands on enemy variety and combat. But this is where my biggest issue with the demo also starts showing up. For a game built around the idea of a deadly survival world where every step could be your last, there isn't really much danger during normal gameplay. Outside of bosses, most enemies go down incredibly fast. Even the highest difficulty available in the demo, which is normal, and because of that, the tension that should be there is not. Being trapped inside Aincrad starts slowly disappearing because it's a piece of cake. That becomes even more frustrating once you learn about the game's game death mode, which is the most anticipated thing about the game. Game death mode, for instance, is the game's perma-death feature, where if you die in the game, you have your save deleted instead of it not killing you in real life, because that's a little weird. However, to unlock it naturally, players must first beat the game entirely, and then start a new playthrough. Otherwise, if you want to access this for your first playthrough immediately, you need to spend an extra $20 USD for the other edition that unlocks it first. Honestly, I completely understand why people are upset about that and the game. A mode that seems designed to create the exact tension and danger fans want from an SAO game being locked behind either full completion of the game or a higher priced edition feels such a strange decision, especially when the standard gameplay currently feels too safe and easy. Now, I don't think the game is bad per se. In fact, I actually see a lot of potential here. The game feels authentic to SAO without the feeling of danger and every step being your last, to the presentation feeling solid. And the combat has a good foundation, even if it's still fairly basic right now. But at the moment, the demo leaves you wanting more depth and more challenge and more reasons to feel invested within the game and have a little bit more danger within the world itself. Because right now, it feels like Echoes of Aincrad understands the fantasy of SAO. I mean, I hope so with the other games that they have made currently, but not fully the tension that made Aincrad so memorable in the first place with SAO. The whole point was, if you died in the game, you died in real life. The danger, the feeling of everything being your last possible moments, maybe, just for it to not be there, or be there with an extra $20 attachment. And in all honesty, guys, at a $70 price tag, I think the game still has a lot to improve upon, especially if the full game doesn't expand much beyond what we saw in the demo. I mean, sure, you will still have the other missions and, of course, the story and new areas, but if combat and everything doesn't feel as much diverse, and if the enemy density and the feeling of combat doesn't feel as dangerous, it's not going to bring out its full potential, and I can't fully recommend it. For now, I'm definitely interested to see where it will go, and if the demo is just a poor demo to where the game might be fully a big hit. And who knows? Maybe that's the case, but right now it doesn't feel like it. It feels bland because of all the hype that we had before of the game now dying because the demo's here and it doesn't really have anything. If the devs decided to make the game have some sort of like mid game to end game, at least like fun little side mission that we could see how these combats and the danger will unfold in a higher difficulty, then honestly, that might have kept the game being hyped more than hated at this moment in time within the community. So we'll have to see how it goes from there. But honestly, I will still play it. And if you want to follow my experience with the game as I continue to play through the story and eventually review the full release, I'm going to be playing on the hardest mode that's not Death Game because I honestly can't think of buying an extra $20 for the game. So make sure to subscribe if you like the content. I will be covering more games with reviews, gameplays, and reactions in the future. And thank you for watching, Signals, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care. Bye.